Hey y'all, Rick Sky here. Welcome back to another Timepieces for Tomorrow video. And within this video, we're going to talk about the Rolex Submariner, just the Submariner, not the Rolex Submariner Date. And I'm going to respond to a question, great question from Antonio. And I quote Antonio. Antonio said, "I'd be interested in hearing about your 12 years of wearing your sub, mate. Have you had it serviced yet? How has your overall experience been?" Well, so we're going to talk about that. First of all, the service question. No, I have not had the Submariner serviced, and the reason being is that the timekeeping capability, although I'm sure it's not as accurate as it was during 2013, obviously at the time of filming this video, it's 2024, but I haven't noticed degraded timekeeping capability. Sure, I haven't sat down and timed it. Okay, is this plus or minus whatever seconds? I haven't done that, so that is worth mentioning. But I did, I will service it if the timekeeping becomes an issue, or if the water resistance properties becomes a potential concern. So with that being said, I have not had it serviced, but exceptional timepiece, definitely something that I would highly recommend. And we're gonna take it over here to this wrought iron table, and I'm gonna show you things up close. And Antonio, excellent question. If you've got any other questions or comments, please comment below, and I'll try to post additional video responses here on my Timepieces for Tomorrow video series. But let's take this sucker over to the table and let's discuss this matter in depth. So we'll get up close with it here, and obviously this is the Submariner, Rolex Submariner, which is just called the Submariner. If you say Submariner Date, that means that it has a date. This is just the Submariner. So you don't have to say Submariner, no date, Submariner, non-date. A lot of people do. The reality is that the Submariner is this reference, meaning it has no date. So this is 114060 at the time of filming this video. They've got a newer reference. I forget the name of the reference, but it's 41 millimeter case instead of this, which is 40 millimeters. So to look at the two, current reference Submariner versus this, which is the previous, and like I said, I got this one in 2013. One would be hard. It would be hard for one to discern visually between the two. But on the wrist, there's slight differences, and I think the current reference Submariner may use AR coating, which is anti-reflective coating. This reference, 114060, to my knowledge, does not use AR coating. One thing you'll notice, bracelet stretch, no visible stretch. I wear this thing everywhere, man. I wear it in the hot tub, doing yard work, and ocean, pool, bang it into walls. Speaking of how's it held up, you can see the side of the case is shiny. There's some scratches in that because I picked things up and they're sharp and they scratch into it. The side of the clasp exhibits a few scratches. I mean, just stuff that, you know, that wear anywhere would do. And that's something I like about the Submariner. This is something easy to wear anywhere. You know, like I said, from doing yard work to going out some fancy place with a bunch of snooty people. And you know, it's a good wear anywhere. Also a good one and done Rolex, and I'll go as far as to say this is arguably the most iconic wristwatch in the world. And that's not just talking about with Rolex, that's talking about the most iconic wristwatch in the world, in my opinion, from all manufacturers. And a lot of people argue with that. Man, you know nothing about wristwatches, man. You just, all you know is Rolex. You're a Rolex fanboy. No, actually, I know a decent amount. Don't know nearly as much as Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. He's the most knowledgeable wristwatch person in the world, and he hails from Brisbane, Australia. So I don't know, I only know a fraction of what he knows, but I feel like I know a pretty good bit. So this, a few things to note if you're looking at Submariner. Obviously, you want to stick with the ceramic. So this is the 114060, which was the first iteration of ceramic Submariner. Like I said, they've got a newer reference. The pre-ceramic Submariners, a lot of collectors will say, oh man, they're the way to go, because the pre-ceramics, they develop a patina, which is the bezel insert, and the pre-ceramics is aluminum, or aluminium, as people may say, and develops a patina over time. This bezel, as you can see here, looks the same color as it did brand new in 2013. Hasn't exhibited any fading, no scratches. I mean, it holds up. I like the ceramic a lot better. The bracelet on the current reference ceramic Submariner, far superior. It's got solid end links, as you can see. Even though I wear the heck out of this, there's no visible bracelet flex. A lot of those pre-ceramic Submariners and other Rolex watches too, the bracelets get all jingly, jangly, worn out, janky. This doesn't do that. This clasp is very nice. It's the flip lock. It's got the little flip lock right there, and it's also got Glidelock, so you can make micro adjustments. Now, I don't do micro adjustments, although it's easy to do, meaning that if you get fat or you get skinny, you can adjust it without tools. Basically, what I do is, if I start getting fat, I go on a diet for a few weeks, and then I'm not fat anymore. And then if I start to get fat again, I just go on diet again. But I never use the micro adjustments, although this clasp and the current reference Submariner also have Glidelock, which allows toolless micro adjustments, and I'm not going to adjust it because I got it exactly like I want it. But I don't use that. There's some soap in there, man, because I take this thing in the shower. I just don't care, man. But it holds up. It's held up exceptionally well. If you're looking for a one and done Rolex, I would highly recommend the Submariner. And again, the Submariner implies that it does not have the date. If you're talking about the Submariner, it has a date on it. That's called Submariner Date. The Submariner is this, no date. The reason you want the no date is that the symmetry is good. There's no date, which is one less thing to mess up, especially if you're worried about servicing. Well, you don't have a date complication. That's one less thing to mess up and have to ship it in to have a service. So the date, the absence of a date is also a good thing, because if you get the Submariner Date, you get what's called the Cyclops, and that sticks up on top of the sapphire. And I don't know, if you're a watchmaker, you may be able to comment and speak intelligently about the adhesive they use, but essentially there's a piece of there's a date magnifier, the Cyclops, that's somehow adhered to the surface of the flat sapphire crystal. And the thing about that's not good, it sticks up on top of the sapphire, but also if you're in a hot tub or a pool or something, there's lotion and stuff around, that lotion gunks up around the Cyclops, and it looks really nasty. And also it messes up the symmetry of the dial. So you definitely want Submariner. You don't want Submariner Date. Now, when I bought this, the authorized dealer in the Cayman Islands, man, they had everything. I mean, they even had Daytonas, and these weren't for exhibition purposes only. If you're familiar with Rolex currently, you know that Rolex has, if you go into most any authorized dealer, they don't have anything in stock. They may have exhibition models which you can't buy, but they hardly have anything in stock. And if they do, it's the Rolex references that are the ones that people don't really want. But when I bought this, I could have gotten the Hulk. They had Batman, they had Kermit, they had a new old stock Kermit, because that was right when the Hulk had recently come out. They had Daytonas, they had GMTs, Explorer 2s, they had the whole line. Obviously all the Datejust and day dates. But this is what I wanted, and I wanted this because, number one, this is the classic one and done Rolex. Doesn't have any of those crazy colors. Obviously when I bought this, it was before the Rolex market went crazy, and looking at it, if I was a wristwatch flipper, which I'm not, I could look back and say, man, I should have bought the Hulk, because I could have sold it and gotten a couple Submariners. And that's somewhat true statement, but by the time that everything popped like it did, well, no, I still probably could have gotten 2 Submariners instead of 1 if I'd bought the Hulk and sold it. But like I said, I'm not a flipper, and in my opinion, that's cool if you want to add all those other color bezels, with Submariner. because they look neat. But the classic is this right here, the Submariner, just the black, no date. I mean, that's what people want. So if you're if you're into Rolex for the one and done wear anywhere wristwatch, this is hard to beat. The only thing negative that I'll say, and it's not about the wristwatch, but it's about the Stigma. A lot of people that know nothing about wristwatches, they start a business and they make what they think's a lot of money, and they go out and buy a wristwatch and they buy a Rolex Submariner because they don't know anything else. And that kind of gives the Rolex Submariner a bad name, because you got all these people that are ignorant when it comes to wristwatches, and they're wearing one just because they thought it was the only wristwatch that they should buy to seem like they're cool and they've made it. And that's the only bad thing about Rolex. But I mean about the Rolex Submariner, but I don't care what people think. I wear what I like, and arguably out of all the Rolexes that are on the market, the Rolex Submariner is the best. And the ceramic reference is obviously the best in my opinion. And these are just my opinions. You know, like I said, I'm not propped up by any sort of marketing agency or any sort of dealer or anything. I mean, I'm just sharing my own opinions here within this Timepieces for Tomorrow video and within all my Timepieces for Tomorrow videos. I mean, I don't have any reason to sugarcoat the truth. I just tell you what I think. And you know, like I said, high points, ceramic bezel, likely won't crack, likely won't fade. Mine has not. Sapphire crystal, likely won't scratch. I mean, I wear the heck out of this. I bang it into walls. I have not scratched my sapphire crystal, have not cracked my bezel insert, which is ceramic. None of that. The bracelet, yes, it's got some scratches, but one of the cool things about the Submariner is that the bracelet's polished, so even when you get scratches, they're barely noticeable. I mean, really the only shiny parts are the sides of the case, and the sides of the case, those seldom make impact with things like when you're banging into walls or whatever. So you know, it's one that, you know, as far as servicing, back to your servicing question, probably something, I mean, yes, it would be best to service it because you want to make sure that it's maintaining its water resistance. This one's water resistant up to it, let's see, what is it, 300 meters, 1,000 feet. So you know, obviously if you want to ensure that everything is properly sealed, a service would be good for that. If you notice the timekeeping capability is degraded, obviously a service would be good for that. I haven't serviced the time, and I haven't timed it to the seconds, plus minus seconds per day, but it's keeping exceptional time. And like I said, I got this in 2013. It's calendar year 2024 now. I will not service this unless the time keeping is noticeably degraded, or if there's any sort of water proofness concerns that I may encounter. But I mean, other than that, I'm not going to service it. I'm not saying that's recommended. I mean, you know, the dealer, authorized dealer, is going to tell you the service intervals, and you know, you do what you want to do. But I would definitely purchase from an authorized dealer, because one thing with this being arguably the most iconic wristwatch in the world, the Rolex Submariner, there's a lot of fakes and a lot of what are referred to as super fakes. This reference, and check out my separate video, how to spot the Rolex laser etched crown, the Rolex LEC, L-E-C, at the 6 o'clock position. With the right light, the right angle, you can see a crown in there. A lot of the super fakes even have that. So if you're not buying from an authorized dealer, you're really putting yourself potentially in harm's way. And then also, even if a lot of the wristwatch that if you purchase outside of an authorized dealer, there's always things inside that could have been modified or serviced with non-factory parts, etc., that could just really make that purchase a poor decision. So I'd always recommend going to an authorized dealer, even if that means, and I mean, at the time of filming this video, I mean, there's wait lists for pretty much everything. So, you know, if you know what you want, it's definitely worth the wait. Like I said, this could easily be a one and done wristwatch. Probably the best wristwatch in the world, in my opinion. Thanks for the great questions. If you got more questions, comment below, and I'll try to post video responses within future Timepieces for Tomorrow videos. And check out all my other Timepieces for Tomorrow videos too. Thanks for your viewership and great question. Hope I answered your questions. If I didn't, tell me and I'll post another video. Have a good day. Hey y'all, Irix Guy here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.